Why do some amazing games get torn apart by critics while players love them? Sometimes a game doesn't fit the hype, the marketing flops, or the reviewers just don't get it. But that doesn't mean it's not worth playing. Here are 16 incredible games that deserved way better than the reviews they got. Number 16. The Medium. Released in 2021 by Bloober Team, The Medium is a psychological horror game that received mixed reviews upon launch, with some critics citing its slow pace and limited gameplay mechanics. However, the game excels in its storytelling and unique dual reality gameplay, where players simultaneously explore both the real world and the spirit world. The haunting atmosphere, eerie soundtrack composed by Silent Hill veteran Akira Yamaoka, and the deep psychological themes make The Medium a must-play for horror fans who appreciate a rich narrative-driven experience. Number 15. Biomutant. Biomutant, developed by Experiment 101 and released in 2021, is an open-world action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic world, populated by mutated creatures. Despite its ambitious scope, many critics felt the game suffered from repetitive combat and an uneven narrative. However, players who gave it a chance found an expansive world filled with creative character customization, engaging combat that blends martial arts with gunplay, and a dynamic morality system that affects the game's ending. Number 14. The Evil Within. Released in 2014 and directed by Shinji Mikami, the creator of Resident Evil, The Evil Within is a survival horror game that initially faced mixed reviews due to its challenging gameplay and psychological themes. Despite its harsh criticism, it remains a standout in the genre for its disturbing narrative and unrelenting atmosphere. The game's intricate story, where Detective Sebastian Castellanos is trapped in a nightmarish world, is rich with grotesque creatures and mind-bending environments. The claustrophobic setting and intense survival elements make it a standout for those who appreciate survival horror done right. Many players and critics have since come to appreciate The Evil Within for its innovative use of horror mechanics, blending psychological fear with action-based gameplay. The combat, which requires strategic thinking and limited resources, heightens the tension, making every encounter a challenge. The atmosphere, coupled with disturbing visuals and eerie sound design, delivers a nerve-wracking experience. Number 13. Remember Me. Remember Me, developed by Dontnod Entertainment and released in 2013, is an action-adventure game set in a dystopian future where memory manipulation is possible. The game received mixed reviews, with many critics highlighting its lack of polish and uninspired combat mechanics. However, Remember Me stands out for its compelling narrative, which explores themes of identity, memory, and the manipulation of the mind. The story of Neelan, a memory hunter seeking to reclaim her stolen memories, is engaging and thought-provoking, offering an experience that few other games of the time dared to explore. Beyond its story, Remember Me boasts a highly creative world design and art direction, with vibrant futuristic environments and a blend of cyberpunk aesthetics. The game's memory remix mechanic, where players rework and change characters' memories, is a unique and clever feature that allows for puzzle solving with a narrative twist. Number 12. Days Gone. Released in 2019 by Ben Studio, Days Gone is an open-world action-adventure game set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by zombie-like creatures called Freakers. Initially, the game received lukewarm reviews, with critics pointing to its repetitive missions and unpolished mechanics. However, Days Gone offers a solid and engaging experience that has since found a dedicated fanbase. The game's expansive world, filled with wildlife, dynamic weather, and day-night cycles, makes it a truly immersive experience. The personal story of Deacon St. John, a motorcycle-riding drifter seeking his lost wife, provides a strong emotional through-line that anchors the chaotic world around him. The game also shines in its survival mechanics, allowing players to craft weapons, traps, and other items necessary for staying alive in the harsh world. The large open-world environments are filled with various challenges, from freaker hordes to hostile human enemies, keeping players on their toes. The unique motorcycle traversal system is also a highlight, offering a sense of freedom and exploration while navigating the dangerous landscapes. Number 11. Terminator. Resistance. Terminator, Resistance, developed by Teon and released in 2019, was met with skepticism upon its announcement, as many doubted its ability to capture the essence of the beloved Terminator franchise. Upon release, it garnered mixed reviews, with criticism for its low-budget feel and dated visuals. However, the game offers a surprisingly engaging story, set within the Terminator universe during the early stages of the war between humans and Skynet. The narrative, which focuses on a resistance soldier named Jacob Rivers, is a love letter to fans of the series, incorporating familiar characters and elements from the films. Despite its technical shortcomings, Terminator Resistance succeeds in providing a fun and immersive experience for Terminator fans. The game offers a mix of first-person shooting and stealth mechanics, alongside decision-making elements that impact the story. Number 10. Ryse, Son of Rome. Developed by Crytek and released as a launch title for the Xbox One in 2013, Ryse, Son of Rome received mixed reviews, largely criticized for its repetitive combat and linear gameplay. However, it stands out for its stunning visuals, powered by Crytek's powerful game engine, which delivers breathtaking environments and realistic character models. The game's narrative, set in ancient Rome, follows Marius Titus as he seeks revenge for his family's death. The story, though somewhat predictable, is presented in a way that immerses players in the brutal and political world of the Roman Empire. Ryse, Son of Rome also features a combat system that, while repetitive, offers satisfying executions and a sense of power as players cut through enemies. Its high-quality cinematics and engaging portrayal of ancient Rome make it a visually impressive title that still holds up today. Number 9. The Callisto Protocol. Released in 2022 by Striking Distance Studios, The Callisto Protocol is a survival horror game from the creator of Dead Space, Glenn Schofield. The game was met with mixed reviews, with some praising its atmospheric tension and grotesque creature design, while others criticized it for being too formulaic. Set in a dark dystopian future on a prison moon, the game follows Jacob Lee as he tries to escape after a catastrophic outbreak. The setting and tone heavily evoke Dead Space, blending claustrophobic corridors with horrific encounters, which fans of the genre will appreciate. The standout features of the Callisto Protocol include its terrifying atmosphere, gruesome combat, and deep narrative. The game's focus on visceral, close-quarters combat forces players to use limited resources wisely, adding to the sense of dread and survival. Number 8. Spec Ops: The Line. Released in 2012 by Jaeger Development, Spec Ops: The Line is a third-person shooter that, despite receiving praise for its emotional narrative, initially fell under the radar for many players due to its generic shooter mechanics. The game is set in a war-torn Dubai, where an American military unit, the 33rd, has gone rogue. Players control Captain Martin Walker, who embarks on a mission to find out what happened to the unit, only to uncover a grim and thought-provoking story. The game's central themes of moral ambiguity, the horrors of war, and the psychological toll it takes on soldiers make it a standout in the genre. What sets Spec Ops: The Line apart from other shooters is its deep, mature narrative that deconstructs traditional wargame tropes. The game forces players to confront difficult choices, and its plot takes unexpected turns that challenge the player's perception of right and wrong. The game's shocking moments, intense atmosphere, and thought-provoking commentary on war elevate it beyond typical military shooters. Number 7. Watch Dogs. Released in 2014 by Ubisoft, Watch Dogs was one of the most highly anticipated games of its time. But upon release, it received a mixed reception due to its overly ambitious promises and some technical issues. Set in a near-future Chicago, the game follows hacker Aiden Pierce as he seeks revenge after a personal tragedy. Watch Dogs' innovative hacking mechanics, where players can manipulate the environment and access digital systems to their advantage, set it apart from other open-world games at the time. While the game's narrative wasn't groundbreaking, its premise and the concept of a city controlled by data offered a fresh take on the genre. The game's strongest features include its vast, open-world setting and the freedom it offers players. The ability to hack into traffic lights, security cameras, and other systems creates a unique dynamic that allows for varied approaches to missions. Watch Dogs also offers a rich array of side activities and minigames that help flesh out the city. Number 6. Vampyr. Developed by Dontnod Entertainment and released in 2018, Vampyr is an action RPG set in post-World War I London, where players assume the role of Dr. Jonathan Reed, a newly turned vampire. Despite its intriguing premise, the game was met with mixed reviews, with criticisms aimed at its combat system and technical issues. However, Vampyr excels in its atmospheric world-building, rich narrative, and the moral dilemmas it presents. Players must navigate Reed's struggle to balance his duties as a doctor with his need to feed on the blood of the living, leading to tough choices that impact the game's outcome. The game's standout features include its deeply immersive setting and the social dynamics that drive its story. Players must interact with the inhabitants of London, each with their own stories and secrets. Number 5. Left Alive. Released in 2019, Left Alive is a survival action game developed by Square Enix, set in the same universe as the Front Mission series. The game was widely panned upon release, with criticism directed at its clunky mechanics, poor visuals, and lack of depth. However, Left Alive has its merits, particularly for fans of tactical shooters. Set in a war-torn city, players take control of 3 different characters, each with their storylines and perspectives on the conflict. The game offers a mix of stealth, combat, and resource management, making it a challenging experience. The most notable feature of Left Alive is its intense, immersive world building. The game captures the sense of desperation and survival in a city under siege, and players must use their wits to avoid enemies or make use of the limited resources at their disposal. Number 4. Quantum Break. Released in 2016 by Remedy Entertainment, Quantum Break blends third-person shooter mechanics with a time-bending narrative. Despite its ambition and innovative gameplay mechanics, the game received mixed reviews, with some critics pointing to its linearity and uneven pacing. The story follows Jack Joyce, who gains time-manipulating abilities after a failed experiment. The integration of live-action TV episodes between the game's chapters, designed to enhance the story, was both praised and criticized for disrupting the flow of gameplay. However, the concept of controlling time in combat, slowing, freezing, or rewinding moments added a refreshing and strategic layer to the action. The game's technical achievements in combining video game storytelling with TV series-style narratives are noteworthy, offering a cinematic experience rarely seen in games. Number 3. Mafia 3. Mafia 3, developed by Hangar 13 and released in 2016, received a polarizing reception, mainly due to its repetitive gameplay and technical flaws, despite its compelling narrative. Set in 1968, the game follows Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam War veteran who seeks revenge on the mob after his adopted family is slaughtered. The story is rich, with deeply personal motivations and a vibrant, historically accurate depiction of New Bordeaux, a city modeled after New Orleans. The narrative, backed by excellent voice acting and a strong focus on themes of betrayal, loyalty, and revenge, remains the standout element of Mafia 3. While the core mechanics of the game, stealth, shooting, and driving, felt somewhat repetitive, the open-world environment is filled with life and detail. The game's soundtrack, filled with classic 60s music, helps immerse players in the setting. Number 2. The Ascent. The Ascent, developed by Neon Giant and released in 2021, is a cyberpunk-themed action RPG that initially faced criticism for its technical issues, particularly regarding performance and bugs. However, despite its launch struggles, The Ascent garnered praise for its immersive world and its top-down twin-stick shooter gameplay. Set in a dystopian future where mega-corporations control everything, players take on the role of a mercenary, exploring the sprawling city of Valles. The game's design features a detailed, vertically sprawling city that feels alive, filled with neon lights, towering skyscrapers, and seedy underworlds, offering a true cyberpunk experience. The game's combat system is fast-paced and strategic, combining shootouts with RPG elements such as character customization, loot collection, and skill progression. The cooperative multiplayer mode allows players to team up and take on missions together, enhancing the experience. Number 1. MediEvil Remake. MediEvil Remake, released in 2019 for the PlayStation 4, is a remaster of the 1998 classic action-adventure game that follows Sir Dan, a knight who is resurrected to fight evil after failing in battle during his previous life. Despite its charming aesthetic and nostalgic appeal, the game received mixed reviews, with some critics pointing out its dated mechanics and difficulty. However, the MediEvil Remake brings back the quirky humor, whimsical characters, and fantastical settings that made the original a fan favorite. The game blends platforming with combat, requiring players to explore environments and solve puzzles while battling through hordes of enemies. One of the standout features of the MediEvil Remake is its faithful recreation of the original game, albeit with updated graphics and voice acting that gives the world a fresh feel while maintaining its quirky charm. If you enjoyed this list of 16 incredible games that were unfairly trashed by reviews, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with our picks or have any games you think deserve to be on this list? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more content like this.